Hello and welcome back to another video. A lot of people must have seen this question in circuits to find the equivalent resistance, and the general method to solve this is by labeling all the potentials. And if you label all the potentials, you'll see that all these three resistors are have the same potential difference. So these three resistors, which look to be in series, actually can be converted to another network of circuits where they are in parallel because because they have the same potential difference. And so three resistance, same potential difference in parallel, so the equivalent resistances are by 3. But now for this particular question, I thought of a new method which works only for this question and a few other very symmetrical problems. And this method is what I like to call the resonance method, which is inspired by resonance in organic chemistry. Okay, let me show it to you. It's pretty cool. Alright, so before solving this circuit, I would like to talk about resonance, which I was talking about earlier. So, look at this compound. It's a very famous compound. It's called benzene. Its formula is C6H6, and this thing can also be represented as this. Right? These two are pretty identical, and if you look closely, these two look like mirror images of each other. And these both are called resonance structures. And if you see, these two are equally stable. And so in the main compound, like on how benzene appears in the surrounding, benzene has a bond order of benzene is 1.5 in each bond between them, because if you look at this bond, these both are corresponding bonds. This one has 1 and this one has 2 bond order. So if you look at the main compound, how it appears, so it's equally contributing from both the structures. There's equal contribution because these both are equally stable, so there is no particular order like one has more priority over the other. So these both have equal contribution, so 2 plus 1 divided by 2, and that is true for every bond between them. Okay, so that's basically what I was trying to say, that if they're equally stable, then the contribution should be equal. Okay, anyways, back to the circuit. So now what is the main idea of how a current passes through the circuit? Well, the current wants to encounter least resistance because that is the fastest way to go, right? So, well, how can the current go? Suppose I current enters over here. Well, this one is shorted, so this path has no resistance at all. So that's one path. And then the current can go either here or here. And if it takes this path, then there's a resistance of R and no resistance still here. So that's resistance R if it takes the left path, and if it goes directly over here, that's resistance R on the right path. So these both are equally likely because in this path the total resistance is R. Similarly, if it goes, instead of going on the loop over here, if it goes straight and then gets shorted over here, then also total resistance is R in this path. Okay, so these are the three possible routes it can take, and the current is not going to just flow in a loop, otherwise that'll make it infinite possibilities. That's just going to keep on going. So that's highly improbable. That's basically negligible. You can neglect it. Anyways, so now these three paths, like the current has to pass through each of these paths simultaneously because all of these are equally stable. So there's no particular order which you can choose from to give one path more priority. All of them have equal priority because they're equally stable. Right, So well, now let's say that current I1 passes through, let's assume the current I1 passes through here, I2 over here, and I3 over here. Now we can't say that I1 is greater than I2 is greater than I3 or any particular order, right? Because these are all perfectly symmetrical. So the only, because these all have the same resistance in them, so this total resistance R, so they have the same resistance, so they all have to occur simultaneously with equal contribution. So we have to say that I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I3. That is the only possible order in which you can choose, right? And we know that all of these sum up to I. So all of these are equal to I by 3. And now if you have to find the potential difference between A and B, well, why are we finding potential difference? Because we know the total current. If we find the potential difference, we can find resistance effective is equal to V by I. That is the Ohm's law. Okay, so what is the potential difference? Well, let's say it takes this path, it goes through this resistance R and gets shorted and directly through B. So what's the potential drop from A to B using that? Well, this is I by 3 into R, Ohm's law again, so I by 3 into R, and the total I is equal to I. So if you do V by I, so you get R effective is equal to R by 3, which is the same as what we got using the equipotential method. Alright everyone, thank you for watching, and if you like my videos, please like, share and comment on them, and please subscribe to my channel for more such content. Thank you.